what is the connection between self-worth and the quality of my relationships? If you want to know how much self-worth and how much self-respect you actually have for yourself, don't look at your affirmations. Don't look at how social, how outgoing, how extroverted you are. Don't look how confident you can be on your good days. There's only one thing that can consistently tell you and show you on what level of self-worth you are right now. And that one thing is your relationships. Look at your relationships, because the quality of your relationships will tell you everything. It will tell you what you believe you deserve. It will tell you how deeply you trust yourself. And it will tell you whether you prioritize your peace, whether you prioritize your needs, or you prioritize your wounds and your patterns. If you find yourself in a situationship, in a friendship, or in a relationship where you're always overgiving, you're always second guessing yourself, you are lowering or even completely disregarding your standards, and your needs feel so unimportant to be met. If you are in this situation, you do not have a relationship problem. You have a self-worth problem. This connection between self-worth and the kind of love that we allow is something that goes completely unseen, and it's something that it doesn't even cross our minds. We either blame ourselves or we blame others for when a relationship is not working. We're so convinced that we might actually be the problem that we don't realize and we don't see clearly that maybe my conviction that I am the problem or that I am not good enough could be actually the problem that is causing this as a result in my relationships, or causing as a result for me to attract this kind of relationships. Hi guys, I'm Adriana, welcome back to my channel. If you ever wonder what is the connection between relationships and self-worth, and wonder how actually significant is that link between them, and if you could get away without having to do the self-worth work, because who has the time for that? You just want to have the relationship, the dream relationship, without having to actually work on yourself, and without actually believing that, well, believing highly about myself is not important, it's about meeting the other person's needs. If you think that, and if you ever wondered like if you could get away with that, then this video is for you. I'm going to explain to you how these aspects are interlinked and how deeply they affect one another, and how, if you don't understand how powerful and dynamic is that connection and that link between these two things, between relationships and self-worth, you will continue attracting relationships that not only do not feel like the dream relationship, but they actually are going to be relationships that reinforce the belief inside of you that having the dream relationship is just not possible for me. So I'm going to teach you the lessons that it took me so many years for me to learn. The lesson that if I could just started with that, it would have saved me so much unnecessary energy spent and time spent on relationships and on people that ended up giving me the lesson and the insight that you can't have the one without the other. So if you're able to sit today and understand, you're going to save yourself so much time, so much energy, because you are going to be able to transform the one thing that is going to give you everything that you want. You're going to be able to understand that the ability to get the dream relationship is actually in your hands, and more precisely, it's in your perception and it's in your mind. So let's get into this. You will never receive beyond what you believe you deserve. So this is about your energetic set point. You will attract, you will tolerate, and you will attach to what your nervous system has normalized. So whatever your nervous system feels comfortable, feels familiar to, feels normal and safe around, that is what is going to attract. So that means this is your energetic set point. Meaning, if your nervous nervous system is used to and has normalized the idea of attracting people that do not value you, that do not meet your needs, that abandon you, that are not considerate of you, then that is your energetic set point. So this is where you're starting from. So if this is what you believe you deserve, you will never be able to go beyond that and attract something that is way higher than that. To be able to attract something that is higher than that, you need to move your energetic set point to something higher, to believe that you deserve and that is normal for you to attract and to have in your life what is up here. If somewhere inside of you, you still believe that love has to be earned, love has to be fixed, love has to be fought for, that means you will confuse devotion with endurance. You will confuse love with staying in places where love doesn't meet you back. You know, a lot of us, we have this belief that love is the price. So if love is the price, then that means I have to do anything in my power to get this love. Because if I get this love, this means I get the prize, and that means I am a winner. So we are willing to do anything in our power. We are trained to think that we have to do anything in our power to get this love, and then to do everything in our power to never lose that love from our hands. And that is because we think that love is the holy grail. Love is the prize. Love is that reward. So if I want to be a winner, if I want to win in this life, and you deeply want that, you want that love, and you feel how magnificent and how important it is to have that in your life, you feel like you need to sacrifice everything in order to get that. You feel like you need to sacrifice everything in the name of love. So if you break up with someone, if the relationship doesn't work, that means immediately for our brain is that we failed to prove ourselves as lovable. We failed, we are not winners, love went away from us. That means that we're not lovable, we're not capable of holding love and of keeping love, and that means that we do not deserve that love. So we've learned to put love on the pedestal, made ourselves willing to sacrifice ourselves in the name of love. We never for a moment stopped to think about what we are sacrificing for this love is worth. And is this love? Is this love that I'm chasing and I'm trying to keep, does it even feel like a reward? Does it even feel like it's the prize that is a dream relationship? Or am I just chasing it because if I don't have it, then what does that mean about me? And then we don't think that, okay, love is the prize, love is the reward. So if I'm a winner, if I'm someone that won that prize, won't I feel deserving of that prize? Won't I feel deserving of that reward? You think that even if you have won that prize of love, you think that I still have to chase it, I still have to earn it. You don't feel worthy of it. If you innately feel undeserving of that prize and of that love, even when you get it, you will keep feeling like you have to fight for it and you have to keep earning it. So that means in order for us to be able to attract the love that we want, we have to be able to make ourselves believe that we deserve the love that we want. That love is not the prize, that love is not the reward, but love is simply the result for those who already believe that they have it. So love is simply like the next step, like it's just the effortless result, that an effect that comes from when you already have it and you already believe you deserve it. You are a winner because you already believe that you're a winner. Self-worth is like the silent contract that you write with every person that you meet. Before you speak, before you fall for anyone, before you ask for anything, your energy has already told them what's acceptable for you. So if you do not fully value yourself, they can see it, they can feel it. And not because they are bad people and they see that you are weak in this department and so they want to use and abuse you, but because you unconsciously taught them how to treat you. You already communicated with your energy, this is what I'm expecting, so this is what I feel I'm deserving, so this is what all I expect from you to give me. And I want you to see this as something that gives you back your freedom and gives you back the responsibility, because this is able to make you see that you're not the victim anymore. You're not just randomly getting so badly treated by so many people. You get to see that, well, if there is a pattern, where is this pattern coming from? And all of these people have one thing in common, me. So if I am the person that is constantly attracting people that violate my standards, that do not respect me, that do not value me, then these people are doing that with me. So maybe this is something that I draw, this is something I attract. So if I go back to myself and I change that, then the result that I get will also change. This gives you back all your power, because you see how responsible you are for your own life and for the people that you get to attract. You get to see that people don't actually violate my worth. They just simply reflect what I wasn't able to enforce. So that means that if I am not having standards for myself, if I don't value myself, then of course this person is going to reflect back to me. He's just here to tell me and to teach me that, hey, look, this is what you expect and this is what you get. So once you see that, you're able to see that, okay, it's okay, like, doesn't mean that this is what I deserve. It's simply what I think I deserve right now. And I'm going to take this power back and I'm going to work on this and do the inner healing so I'm able to attract people that give me what I want. There is so much freedom in taking responsibility for what happens in your life, because nobody is telling you and nobody is forcing you to tolerate any behavior. Nobody is forcing you to accept that as the normal. You make yourself small by accepting that this is what I get, therefore this is what I deserve, and this person is bad for giving this to me. Why are you attracting that person in the first place? And why are you accepting them even though you feel that this is bad? So that means there's a part of you that resonates with that. And this is what I want you to work on that part of yourself. Not blaming that part, but seeing it. Seeing that part as something that we need to accept and forgive, and give him a lesson and understanding that love can be whatever we want it to be. And we deserve to have more. The love that you accept is in direct proportion to the love that you withhold from your own self. You can only receive externally to the degree that you can hold internally. You may say that you want devotion, you want consistency, you want intimacy, but do you offer these things to yourself? Or do you ghost your needs? Do you gaslight your feelings? And you abandon your own boundaries the moment that someone threatens to leave. One of the best things I ever did was to stop outsourcing the love that I never gave to myself. I stopped expecting others to leave because I stopped leaving myself. I realized that anything and everything that I wanted from someone else, I needed to firstly give them to myself. If I didn't feel heard, if I didn't feel like I was given enough attention to, my default went to be like, okay, what is it that you want right now? Whatever you're asking and you expecting from that other person, I want you to go and give it to yourself first. Is that attention? Is that quality time you're looking for? Is that consideration? Is that whatever you are looking for? Go and give it to you first. Because when you are doing that, when you are not withholding any love from yourself, you stop expecting anyone else from outside you to come and do that. You already fill your own cup. You already meet your own needs, and so you effortlessly will attract people that will be able to meet your own needs as well. But if you yourself, you deny yourself, you do not accept your needs, you ignore them, you disregard them, you think that they can only be met and by someone else. You think that only somebody else is worthy and capable and powerful enough to come and fix those needs. You tell to yourself, listen, your love and your power and your energy doesn't matter to me. I need somebody else. I need to outsource this power and responsibility to somebody else because whatever you're giving me is not enough. If you say this to yourself, you give the power away. You externalize that power and that responsibility to somebody else. And that somebody else has the power then to control you. He has the power or she has the power to meet your needs. And therefore, he has the power to control your moods. So if you're not able to meet your own needs, if you are not able to give yourself exactly what you need from other people, you will be constantly in their hands. You will continue to be at their mercy. And this power was never meant to be theirs. That's why so many people tell you, don't wait for another person to come and make you whole. Be whole on your own. What they mean is not that that person that you're attracting is not able to come and meet your needs. But what they say is that you need to be able to understand and to see yourself as somebody that can feel her own needs and she can exist on her own and she can meet herself, and therefore she doesn't need anyone else to come to make her whole. She makes herself whole. If she needs love, she gives herself love. And that is what makes her whole and complete, because she doesn't have this gap and this emptiness that she expects from somebody else to come and fill for her. The people that you attract are not random. They are actually invitations that are asking you to witness the parts of you that are not healed. So many women that when we are in this stage of not being able to attract a soulmate, to attract a healthy relationship, we immediately fall back into the belief that we are cursed, that we are not meant for love, that we're gonna end up in a house with 50 cats. Well, this is not how you should see it. I want you to see things that you are in a classroom, okay? This is a subject that has been given to you. You asked God, you prayed for love, you asked for a relationship that is going to be a soulmate, that is going to be your dream relationship. You asked for this. So therefore, that means you need to develop and learn the lessons of a person who knows how to be and how to attract a dream relationship. So that means you are in a classroom learning about love. And so now you're going to attract experiences, you're going to attract people, you're going to attract situations that are going to teach you one by one all the lessons that you need to learn in order to pass the final test to attract and to get the result that you want, which is a dream relationship. So you have to see that every person that comes in your life won't be the one. You have to be able to distill from every experience and from every person a lesson, an insight, a takeaway that is giving you insights and is giving you understanding that you're supposed to learn and take in order to understand what am I doing wrong and what do I need to change based on this feedback in order to adjust it so I can get the result that I want. So there is this story about Edison, the guy that invented the light bulb. And he made so many thousands of attempts of how to invent electricity, the electric light bulb. And there was this person that told him, so you failed, I don't know how many times, it was like 8,000 or 1,000 times. You failed 1,000 times to invent the light bulb. And Edison said, no, I have learned 1,000 ways how to not invent the light bulb. Meaning that every experience that you got, it doesn't matter if it's 1,000, doesn't matter if it's 100, doesn't matter if it's from like how many people, you have to see, and you have to see them as lessons and as insights on what to change based on this feedback and what to adjust in order to try now differently in order to achieve your desired outcome. You should never see that your situation is a dead end. Every experience and every person that is coming in your life is here to give you a lesson. Some are bigger, some are smaller. And the more somebody touches you, the bigger the lesson, because it has a bigger impact on you. So the reason why we develop feelings for people that might end up not being significant at the end of our lives, even if they end up not being the soulmate or the right relationship for us, is simply because that big emotion, that big connection has to exist in order to touch you, in order to influence you, in order to shake you in a way so it can make you wake up and see that, hey, look, there's something wrong here, something not aligned here. Every partner that triggers you is a walking mirror of something that is inside of you and that is unresolved. Whether that's your abandonment wounds, whether that's your guilt around having any needs, whether that's your fear of being visible, whether that's or your craving for validation. Whatever you yourself is suppressing, whatever you're going to try to suppress yourself, life is going to be funny with you and it's gonna be like, okay, you wanna suppress it, you don't wanna face it. Let me put this thing right in front of you in the form of a person, in the form of a situation or experience that makes you see that problem right in the eyes. So this gave me the lesson to understand that I need to stop blaming others for causing me that pain and to start learning and to start studying the versions of myself that they were awakening, the versions of myself that they were triggered by them. I didn't see them there as evil or as bad people that they were here to hurt me, but as people that they were trying to teach me something. Why is this feeling rising up? What is this trying to teach me? And so this way you're able to see people as not the enemy and not to blame them, because you see them as keys to your own growth. You see them as such an integral part in revealing parts of you that you haven't even claimed yet, that you have been suppressing and you have been ignoring. And without that person, without that experience, you wouldn't be able to see that in the eyes and be able to take that and transmute that into something that you want. If you do not see your own worth, your trauma will pick your partners for you. And that's the thing about unhealed trauma. It doesn't just show up. It literally chooses your life for you. It rules your life. It's the driving force behind so many of your decisions. Because if you're not choosing from self-worth, then from what place are you choosing? What person is choosing and attracting those people? Well, your wounds are. That trauma is choosing for you, because if it's not self-worth, then it's self-doubt. Then the self-doubt, where is it coming from? Where is it rooted? It's rooted from your experiences that caused you to believe that you do not deserve to have what you want to have. The trauma will choose the person that will mirror and that will reflect your wounds and not your worth. And that's why you keep being drawn to people that are unavailable. That's why you're bored by peace. And then you are so thrilled by people that give you and take you in emotional roller coasters. The lesson for me here was that I needed to learn how to rewire what home meant for me, what home felt like in my nervous system. I was able to rewrite completely what it means to feel safe, what it means to be in a relationship that met my needs. I was able to face my trauma, face my wounds, face everything that was holding me back and made me believe that this thing that I want isn't available for me. And every time I step on a wound, I stepped on a trauma and I found out about it, I will immediately sit with it and try to reframe it and try to rewire it and change it completely so it will be working now in my favor. I changed what home felt like for me. My nervous system was able to understand that safety and feeling secure, feeling like somebody has my back, is not boring. And as a result, chaos no longer felt like chemistry, and peace no longer felt like punishment. I felt that I deserved to have chemistry and to have connection with someone without the chaos, without the uncertainty, without the questions, without the confusion, without the wondering. I was able to see that peace can be in a relationship and that you can be chosen unequivocally all the time. Your self-worth defines not only who you attract, but who you tolerate, who you chase, and who you betray yourself for. When your own self-worth is fractured, that means and that makes your standards negotiable. You abandon yourself and you abandon your truth. You suppress that truth and you keep the silence in order to keep someone in your life. You find yourself lowering the bar, and what do you call that? You call that compassion. You stay in almost love and you call it hope. You call it, if I just stick around it enough, if I just work around it enough, if I try enough, then this itself someday could become love. But love is not something that you force to become. Love is something that just exists. It's something that is already there. It's not something that you have to alter yourself, force yourself, shrink yourself for in order for the love to come out and to exist. Love is something that it's either here or it's not. And this made me realize that you could be saying, no matter how much you want, oh, I love myself, I am working on myself, I am like compassionate for myself, I am kind to myself. But if you do not actually take the actions to reflect that and to prove that to yourself, that you're not willing to accept anything less than what you want, that you're not willing to shrink yourself to keep someone around, then that self-love is not manifested, is not actually materialized. You're simply deluding yourself and you're simply trying to make yourself better, that you love yourself, but this is just an exception that you're doing, just accepting this situation because it's just you gave up so much for this, you tried so much for this, and you're doing this out of compassion. Self-love materializes only when you allow it to materialize, when you allow it to exist with your actions and not only your words. You get to develop the mindset that if I have to shrink myself, if I have to become less in order to keep you, that means that you were never mine. That means that you were never meant to be mine. So therefore, I see that immediately as a sign that if I try to shrink myself, if I try to adjust myself and tolerate less than what I want, silence myself in order to have you, then that means I don't have you. Then that means you were never mine. Because a love that is mine, a love that is existing between two people, will never ask those two people to shrink, to become less than. You accept their needs. You see that your needs and your wants are accepted and they're fulfilled because they are important to you and therefore important to the other person. If your needs are not seen and they're not considered, then how are you going to be able to call what you have with that person love? It's not love, it's you being there, giving them what they want, but never what they don't want from you. Giving you only the benefit of having you, but not the complete image of having you, not the complete and fullness. And why would you want a love that wants half of you and not your complete and whole self? High self-worth doesn't make you unavailable, it makes you magnetic. So let's reframe completely this myth that exists, that women that ask for too much means that they're too much, that means that they're too needy, means that men don't want that, means that they are unattractive. This idea that having high standards will push people away, it was only created for the benefit of people that wanted to have access to easy people. And also, so many people feel like, okay, having high standards pushes people away. You have it wrong. Having ego-driven expectations is what pushes people away. When you called expectations that you have formed from your ego and you call them high standards, that is what is pushing people away and makes them feel like I'm just being used. But if you have high standards that is coming from a place of love for yourself, that can never be wrong. How can a standard that's come from loving and respecting yourself ever be wrong? How could it be selfish? How could it be pushing people away? It's only pushing away the people that do not love you, that do not respect you, and therefore they don't want you to love and respect yourself. Having high self-worth makes you anchored, it makes you clear, it makes you embodied. That means you know yourself. You know what you offer, you know what you bring to the table, you know what you're deserving, you know that you're worth it, and therefore you're coming from a place that is clear. This is where I'm coming from, this is what I'm offering, and if you can't meet them, that's fair. I won't expect them from you. But my standards are here and they will never drop lower just to meet you and just to make you feel comfortable around me. What is coming first to me is for me to be comfortable around me and to live with myself and not accepting anything from just to have someone. And that's the thing. When you are anchored and when you're grounded in your own self-worth, you immediately don't chase and you attract. You do not need to go and try to drill this concept down in your head. You already embody it. You already feel it. I don't need to go out and chase people. I don't need to go out and convince people to be in my life. I attract people effortlessly because I already know what I offer. I don't need to go out and prove my worth in order to have someone. You do not need to audition. You just simply attract. You don't have to settle. You simply receive. And the truth is, it made me realize like the most attractive women are not the loudest, are not the ones that go with their ego and they demand things, but they're not either the ones that go with just their silence and their wait around for people to choose them and they just give and give and give in order to finally be chosen. I realized that the most attractive people are the ones that are the most energetically coherent with themselves. They are the ones that come from a place of love with themselves and with worth and with self-worth, and that attracts the people that are also on the same level of self-love and worth as her, because they no longer have to negotiate their value, to negotiate themselves in order to be with someone. Their energy is so congruent, it's so coherent. They're simply embodying the belief that I don't even have to go into a situation where I have to justify myself and my value and my worth in order to be with someone. I simply do not put myself in this position. I simply deserve to be with someone that sees my worth, that sees my value, because I already see my worth and I already see my value, and I wouldn't expect anything else. This becomes their normal. Therefore, this becomes their energetic set point. So for them, if their energetic set point is here, they will never attract someone that is down here, that is going to make them question their worth, that is not gonna meet them, that is gonna abandon them. That they can't attract someone like that because they have an energetic set point that for them is normal to receive love that is the same quality and the same level of the love that they give to themselves. The relationship is never the problem. It's simply the mirror. Every painful dynamic that you ever had wasn't just about them. It wasn't just about the other person treating you badly. It was also your soul and your inner self screaming to you, why do you still abandoning yourself? Why are you still accepting less than you want? Why are you still not loving ourselves? When are you going to finally be ready to stop abandoning yourself and to start finally choosing yourself? And realizing this unlocks so much for you, realizing that relationships, they don't wound us. They simply reveal what is already wounded. They're just pointers. They're already telling you, listen, inside here you have this wound. And that's why it hurts so much when I touch it. These relationships, they're not here to break us. They're here to introduce us and to guide us to the part of us that needs healing, the part of us that needs to be rebuilt and to need to be dealt with in a way that they're finally not hurting and they're finally able to thrive. And this changes everything. Because once you realize and once you're able to see that heartbreak doesn't mean failure, you're able to actually see it as this divine lesson, this divine guidance that is showing you where to begin with. What do you need to focus on right now? What do I need to heal right now? It's simply your pointer. And if this is showing up, don't ignore it and be like, okay, I need to go in another relationship to learn. Face the thing that is already hurting you, that you already became aware of. And by starting that, you will start unraveling this knot where until finally it's going to be untangled and everything is going to be straight. So if you no longer have this knot, you're going to be able to so instantly and effortlessly attract, without any tension, people in your life that will not longer get caught in that knot. I was able to understand that every person that I had in my life, every relationship, every situation, every experience that I have went through, these were divine mirrors that were showing me the way, that they were guiding me back to myself. But the most key part here is not only to allow this experience to come in you, but to have the awareness and to have the ability to use them in a way that you can transmute them, to not just let that experience come into your life and crush you, but to be able to come out of that experience with the lesson, with the insight, with the takeaway that will make you stronger to go into the next one, to the next lesson. It's so overwhelming, the amount of, once you realize that the amount of lessons that you need to go through in order to reach the point where you are so finally healed internally, so you can finally attract the person that you want and you feel like you deserve in your life. And for me personally, it felt so heavy to go through relationships and different dating phases with people where I was feeling I was learning, but it felt so much more painful to see my wounds and my trauma mirrored by that situation. So I realized that very quickly, and because I did, I was like, okay, listen, I have the option to either continue going through people and experiences in order to finally heal them and come to the realization of what I deserve and what I am worth and what I want to actually have in my life, or I can just sit with myself and go inside to myself and do the inner work, so I don't have to go through any relationships and any other dating phases in order to learn that. I just found myself so much more drawn and so much more compelled by the idea that I can actually heal myself and I can actually learn all the lessons I need to learn to reach, to pass the subject of love without having to go through the first-hand experiences with people. And even though I had enough to touch me, enough to alter me, to see some situations differently, I felt like I was able to do that, to learn my lesson without having to go out there and learn these experiences. And the way that I did that was by journaling. And I can't tell you the amount of notebooks and the amount of journals and journal prompts that I went through in order to learn so many of the lessons. And you're thinking but how can you learn something from your journal when you have to go through experiences and these big relationships to learn them? You do not need to learn through experience. You already have the wound. You already have the belief inside of you. You don't need to go out and project it onto somebody else. You don't need to reflect it into somebody else in order to see it. It already exists inside of you, and you are the one that has the solution, and you are the one that is aware of that problem also in the first place. So by taking your journal, I took my journal and the amount of things that flew from that, and I was able to see how is this connected, how is this interlinked, what are my thoughts, what were my beliefs, what was I attracting and how it was reflecting onto that, where all of this came from and how I was reinforcing it in my life. I was able to finally let them go. I was able to see the lessons. I was able to alter and transmute those wounds into beliefs that are congruent with the energetic scent points that I wanted to attract from. So I started doing that in autumn. And in the summer of that year, I felt like I no longer cared if I got in a relationship or not. It no longer mattered to me. And that's when I knew that I would get into a relationship, because I no longer cared if I had it. I was already whole and complete without it. Something that I didn't feel like I had and felt before. And that was the last summer that I was single. I have ever since been in a relationship for almost 3 years now, in a dream relationship that I never thought that it would be possible, but in fairy tales. I've gathered all of those lessons, and I know the importance of all of those lessons and all of the in-betweens in order to reach that state. And because I've learned and mastered that subject, I am able now to see all of the right answers and all of the right inputs you need to put in each question in order for you to pass the test. What are the insights? What are the questions you need to ask yourself in order to understand yourself better and to understand the healthy relationships better? That made me so compelled to create my own journal, like to cover every phase that you need to go through in order to pass the subject of love. So every phase has its own chapters, and every chapter has its own insights. It has journal prompts, it has affirmations, it has different visualizations that you need to do. All of the exercises, basically the homework you need to do with yourself in order to pass that chapter, to learn that lesson yourself, integrate the lesson that you have learned in order to move to the next one, so you can finally pass the test and get proficient into the subject of love. I try to explain it this way because it's not just one thing. It's not just simply relied on your self-worth. It has so many other core parts that is affecting your end result. And this journal covers everything. It has 7 phases, and it covers everything that you need to know in order to attract the love you deserve and the love that you want, in order to attract your dream healthy, loving relationship. So if you're ready to do the inner work in order to finally free yourself from all the wounds that are holding you back from attracting your dream relationship, from being in the energetic set point where you are able and free to attract people that you want to attract in your life, people that are healthy, that are loving, that are loyal, that are meeting your needs, the link is in the description. And I know it's not easy, and I know you might feel like it's overwhelming, but this journal guide you through everything. It will make you feel like, okay, I'm taking this one step at a time. I don't have to go head first and I have to figure this all out myself. You can let the journal guide you, and I promise you, just by going through the journal prompts and the exercises, you are gonna have so many profound reflections and so many profound revelations that are going to change your energetic set point, and that you're going, as a result, change the quality of your relationships, and as a result is going to change the quality of the relationships that you attract in your life. So that's it for today, guys. I really hope this video helped you, and I really hope it served as a reminder of how important and how key is our relationship with ourselves and our perception of ourselves.